Warning: this article contains spoilers for Rick and Morty Season 8, Episode 2, Valkyric. Rick and Morty has continued to experiment with unique storylines and episode formats throughout the years, but Season 8 just confirmed a harsh reality when it comes to the show's solo episodes. As the name suggests, Rick and Morty is all about its two titular characters, who constantly embark on all kinds of crazy adventures. While the rest of the Smith family are prevalent parts of the series alongside some frequently recurring side characters, Rick and Morty's best episodes usually involve the two protagonists at the heart of the action, making it a huge gamble doing solo adventures. Even when their stories aren't intertwined, both Rick and Morty are usually involved in every episode to some degree, but Valkyric decided to completely sideline Morty, just like Rise of the Numbericons, the movie did with Rick last season. Interestingly, this risk seemed to pay off, as Rick and Morty Season 8's good reviews continued with Episode 2 gaining a mostly positive reception. Valkyric may be far from the franchise's best episode, and it fell a little short of Season 8's premiere, but its solid performance pointed out an interesting detail when it comes to the show's more isolated stories. Despite not featuring Morty, Valkyric provided plenty of humor and entertainment throughout the episode, proving a story without one half of the main duo can work. Season 8, Episode 2 probably won't go down as one of Rick and Morty's most popular adventures, but it didn't feel out of place either, fitting in seamlessly with the show's usual style. Whereas the lack of Rick in Rise of the Numbericons, the movie was instantly noticeable. Valkyric looked right at home and had more than enough action and suspense to keep viewers hooked, making Morty's absence easy to forget about. Given Rick and Spacebeth's relationship has so much potential to be explored, seeing the duo take center stage felt long overdue, and their chemistry was perfect. Their battle against the Gromflomites left me wanting more, and with Spacebeth possibly becoming a regular part of Rick and Morty Season 8's cast, it hopefully won't be the last we see her team with Rick. Regardless, watching them work together and exploring their similarities was a lot of fun, and Rick's connections across the multiverse meant we also got the return of Birdperson and Birddaughter without their cameos feeling forces. It isn't the first time Rick has starred without Morty, as Rickternal Friendshine of the Spotless Mort saw Morty deliver just a single line during the entire episode. Once again, this adventure proved to be pretty popular among viewers, reinforcing the idea that Morty's presence isn't always required considering Rick's solo episodes managed to thrive without him. Although Rick and Morty has still shined without Morty, Rick's only absence hurt the show drastically. We may only have a small sample size of one episode, but Rise of the Numbericons, the movie confirms that the show's only attempt to function without Rick simply didn't work. Part of the problem was that Water T felt like the episode's main character, meaning Morty wasn't even the star of his own solo adventure. However, without Rick by his side, the teenager just didn't feel as interesting as he usually does. This isn't to say Morty always needs Rick to be compelling, as his story with Planetina in A Rick Convenient Mort provided some of his best character work, but considering Rise of the Numbericons became Rick and Morty's lowest-rated episode, it's hard to argue that his individual outing was anything other than a flop. Therefore, even if the show wants to focus solely on Morty again in the future, it would be a huge risk to exclude Rick completely. Instead, giving him a side story or allowing him to clean up Morty's mess would be the safer route to go. Considering both characters are crucial to making the series so great, it seems surprising that Rick and Morty can succeed without Morty but not without Rick. However, there is a reasonable explanation. While Morty has plenty of aspects that make him a fascinating character, his influence is mainly limited to his dimension's version of Earth. Sure, he has traveled across the multiverse with his grandfather, but he hasn't made too many enemies or allies that allow him to carry his own adventures, whereas Rick is one of the most iconic beings across every possible dimension. Stories involving Morty's school or home life feel far more logical than something like the Numberican episode, which was a lot more random. In contrast, Rick thrives on the chaos of meeting random characters, as his history means he can shine alongside almost anyone.